Okay, before I start, I want to explain a few things today. How we can use UAD console app for noise ducking. There's some plugins that I'm using here, so I kind of want to just give you a few examples. So guys, when you go buy any UAD interface, so this one, let's say this one, Apollo Twin, right? Or Apollo Solo. These two or any other high-end audio interface from Universal Audio, they come with the software, guys. So I'm gonna explain how that thing works. So for this one, I also have this one. Yes, you still have, like, you're not able to load up plugins. So you just like plug it straight to your DAW. But for this ones, especially if you have this Apollo Twin or if you have Apollo Solo, it comes with a software, guys. It comes with UAD DSP, right? It comes with the software, right? Images. See, this is a software. So if you buy like one of those plugins or even this one, like the big brother of those two, it will come with the software. Okay, so I'm trying to explain you how it works. So when you get this stuff, when you get that, what happens? You have this software, and UAD claims Unison technology. Let's just Unison tech UAD. Unison technology with your audio interface. What does that mean? They claim that if you load up a plugin that you have on your Apollo interface, if you have like a plugin in your account, and if you load up that plugin inside of this software, that's just gonna act like the actual hardware. So that's basically what it means when they say Unison technology, like like a fancy way of saying it. But when you load up the plugin, that's what they claim, at least that's what they say. So I'm just gonna give you an example. I have this thing now, API Vision channel strip, right? So this is like a preamp. It sounds a little bit plastic, but it's like super, ideal for pop music and all that stuff. So UAD claims if you load up this plugin inside of this UAD console app, it's supposed to replicate, it's supposed to behave like actual hardware. So they're basically saying that there's no difference. Well, I'm sure there's a difference, but that's what they say, and that's what most people believe. I haven't had a chance to test the hardware. I could compare, but what I can tell, guys, I had the actual, you know what, I'm gonna I don't want to deactivate this, but I actually had the real Avalon preamp. I had the Avalon preamp. Right? I had this one though. So what happens, guys, I can't believe it's like $1,000 now. It was more expensive before. Anyway, so what happened, guys, I sold it and I bought UAD. And all of a sudden I have access to all these preamps. What type of preamps I have access to? Let's see. See, these are there's a list here. You can put Neve, you can put Helios. Don't do it. It's the worst one. Centritube is the worst one. These are not good. Manly is good. Rest is skippable. You can totally skip the rest. But Manly, I like the Manly. I use it for my background vocals, as you can see here. But API Vision, excuse me, guys. API Vision is really good for pop type of lead vocals. So I load up this one because I do want to sound plastic for my latest songs because I'm testing stuff, right? So for Voxbox, like Manly Voxbox, that one feels a little bit more, how can I say, soft and smooth. Yeah, that's exactly the term that I will use. Smooth. Totally is smooth. And it has these buttons. I know some people don't even use the compressor on this Manly Voxbox. They only use the unit. And they're not using the compressor of it because they don't want the color. Like they do want the color, but they don't want the compressing. So yeah, I saw this type of stuff on shorts, on TikTok. I'm always on social media. When I'm not producing, I'm engaging with people. I love people. It's just my, personality, Anyway, so I do get to stalk a lot of good engineers. And many of them, like they do use this, but some of them use Manly Voxbox equalizer. I don't have that one, but Manly. I've seen on some TikTok, oh, I should get this one. It's on sale. Anyways, but I'm trying to say some of them are using this thing and they don't even adjust anything. They just put it on the chain and that's all they do. They don't want to do anything else. Like right now it's on sale. Wow. Damn. I'm pissed. Okay, so the actual hardware is $8,000. But again, yeah, I saw on some TikToks of like some of famous engineers or, like engineers that like to show off, So yeah, I've seen after stalking all these engineers, like I've seen they're using this they're using this where is that? Okay, this thing just for the feeling and the color of it. Just like I use Pultec here. I don't boost anything, I don't cut anything. I just like how it feels. If it makes your voice feel a little bit more closer and intimate. And I'm not a vocalist. I'm a vocal producer. I'm a music producer. I'm not a vocalist. I don't have that strong Adele voice that everybody will love. And I have to do my tricks. I have to do my vocal production. I have to be good at my songwriting. I have to be good at like everything else except singing, because that's just not my thing. I'm not fit for it, So anyways, I mean, I can still sing. Don't get me wrong. I can still hold the tone and all that stuff. But what I'm trying to tell you, like, these are like really interesting stuff that I had to learn by stalking other engineers, because I figured that they just put this one, not this one, but other ones, and they don't boost or cut anything. They just put it in the vocal chain just for color. Isn't that crazy? And I tested. I didn't hear this from anybody. I found out about this by mistake. I was just testing stuff and I didn't know where to boost, where to cut. Then I was like bypassing. I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. Why does it sound great? I didn't boost anything. I didn't cut anything. Oh, that's the Pultec's sound already. And then I started researching about that. And I figured, wow, that's actually the Pultec sound, original Pultec sound. Is that supposed to make it sound nice? Well, I'm like, okay, I'll take it. So you get the idea, right? So I used this one. This was like the default. Literally, I'm just literally only using this for preamp color because, again, this is like one of those things that sounds plastic and supposed to sound just like, I don't want to say dull, but it sounds, yeah. I mean, you're gonna be able to tell the difference if you have enough preamps. So what happens when I load up this API Vision Pro channel strip? So UAD claims that that's supposed to be like the actual hardware, which I doubt. But do I get great results with this thing? Yes. So why would I invest in the hardware? Like, why would I do it? In fact, I sold my Avalon. I sold my Avalon preamp and I bought this. I bought UAD. This is the one I got. Let me show you. This is what I got. And it came with all the plugins. Yeah, this is the one I got. Exactly the same money. Oh, wait. Mine is X, yes. Yeah, $1,000. And yeah, yeah, exactly. And then it comes with the software, and then it comes with the plugins too. Some of the plugins they give you for free. And I remember before I started learning the preamps, what I did, I was just like loading up the Unison preamp, which UAD console app gives us. And UAD, so UAD Unison preamps, like it's a little bit hard to, you have to stalk enough to be able to find out. But normally UAD is Unison preamp, like meaning if you don't load up any a special preamp, then it will be the 6110. Okay, so this is the one. So this means like if you don't load up anything, if you don't do anything, if you don't add anything, this is the preamp. And they say this is supposed to replicate this preamp. UAD 6110 to preamp. And guess what? I got incredible result with this. Like even this like Unison preamp, like I didn't do anything. I remember I didn't put anything on my vocal chain, nothing, and still was sounding. Look, this is all I had, guys. I swear to God, like this is all I had. I mean, I was like really, really like shocked that this is all I had. By the way, yeah, I load up this one, and if you buy Volt UAD, so if you buy any of these interfaces, it comes with a preamp inside, right? So this one is like 276. That means that it has like this is like mimicking 1176. But if you have this, which is what I have, if you have this one, guys, this one comes with 76 compressor. And if you deactivate the 76 compressor, it comes with the same thing again. So basically me spending like $200 or $1,000, like there's no difference. And guess what? Like I'm not lying here. In fact, I hate UAD. I hate these guys because they're not paying their engineers, but I had no plugins here. And I had this, I load up this because this was the free one they gave us, right? So I load up this one. I remember exactly this one, 6110, because that was the free one, right? And then they claim that if you load up any of these preamps, that's supposed to sound like the actual preamp, actual hardware. So that's what I did. I load up this preamp here, and then I got great results. And I didn't do anything else. That's it, like nothing else. And I would love to play few of my songs that I just didn't do anything else. I mean, it's crazy that I didn't do anything else. I didn't put this preamp. I didn't put this preamp. Now I have these preamps because, like, in time you spend the money, you buy those stuff, right? But when I first got it, I didn't have any of this. And all the vocal recordings, like, incredible. You will be shocked. And I remember even after I got some of these preamps, I was still using this one because it was just like, how can I explain? It was just natural, it was like not exaggerating anything, not giving any color. It was just like neutral, so that's what happened. So I'm sharing my experience right now. Anyway, so now you get the idea. Now you know preamps have different colors. And if you load up different preamps here that you paid for, UAD claims that that's supposed to act like the actual hardware, which I don't believe in that stuff. Like, I have to be honest here, but it doesn't matter. Do I get good results or not? Yes. Again, I don't even like UAD. I criticize them like nonstop, guys. But if I'm saying this, like I got really good results without putting anything, just the 6110, which is exactly the same built-in preamp on Volt 1. I guess it was Volt 1, right? Yeah, this is the one I got. It's exactly the same preamp, guys. Exactly the same. It's the built-in preamp on this one. If you deactivate everything, yeah, exactly. You deactivate that 76 and you're good. Your compressor, I mean, your vintage thing, that's your preamp, and that's what they have. Sorry, excuse me. So now you get the idea. I was really, really surprised when I find out about this. And then that's why I got this one for travel, just to make sure, just because I know that it will get the job done. You know, it will get the job done. Like, yeah, like super cool. Anyways, but when you have there's a difference, guys. There's a difference. Let me show you the difference. When you have this thing, you can actually monitor yourself. Let's say, imagine you have like effects, like a reverb. I don't have any reverb. I don't like tracking myself like that, guys. Like, you know, like I'm not, you know, I'm not a singer, you know, I don't have to like, anyway, so you get the idea, right? You can load up like reverbs here. If you want to monitor if you want to hear yourself at the reverb, all that effects, then you're going to need the software. And you can monitor yourself with all this stuff on, but you have to purchase this one or Apollo Solo. Okay. Or Apollo 4X, X4, which is like the 4 times more, 4 inputs. So you get the idea, what, right? But yeah, but I just didn't care. I bought this thing because I knew it was gonna come with the, what is that? This one, built in. And this one sounded great this whole time. And I said, you know what, that's just like, this is like a really good travel option for me, that it comes built in. And I'm not gonna have the software when I buy that $100 thing. I'm not gonna have the software. I'm not gonna be able to monitor myself with all the effects and preamps that I put here, but it's just gonna have the same preamp, which is this one. Okay, I mean, this was the one that I was using this whole time. Then I learned about preamps. I did some shopping, you can tell. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit more about this. Look, okay, I have my API Vision Pro. Like, I literally don't put anything because, again, I don't have to hear myself perfect. I'm not a singer. Like, I never get in the mood and try to sing better. Like, I never get in the mood. I'm never, you know, that's not my mindset. I'm a vocal producer. I'm a producer. So it doesn't matter for me what I hear when I'm listening. I don't care what I hear. I just hear myself and that's it. Like, I don't get emotional if I hear my voice better or not. Like, I don't care about that stuff. Most of the time, I think about the production anyways. I think about the post-production, how I will change this signal, right? That's most of the time, that's what I think, post-production. By the way, I'm being easy on the P's and T's and all that stuff because I don't have a pop filter. So see, this is what is causing like thinking like an ending mindset. Anyway, so you get the idea. Now you load up your preamp. See, I'm being very easy on the P. So I could totally say like P. That will just cause me extra plosive and you will just hate me for that because I need to buy a pop filter eventually. A second one. Anyway, so once you put this preamp here, and then I want to show you the magic, guys. This is just magic. This just saved me so many sessions, lots of time. This saves me lots of time. There's a reason, like, I'm never gonna pay full price for plugins. I'm always gonna wait for the sale. I'm always gonna look for some discounts, all that stuff. I'm maybe gonna try to crack all those plugins, you know. I'm sorry, but what I'm trying to tell you that this was so worth it. What do you see here, guys? This is attenuate 100%. Do you know what is attenuating? It attenuates my background noise because right now I have like a crazy amount of background noise. It attenuates everything, like absolutely everything. So this is like C-suite box. So I put this plugin in the chain, in the recording chain. That way it's gonna track it like this. So it's ducking the noise, and this is how it's gonna track the vocals for me. So I don't have to go after like RX tools. Like, you know, RX has some tools, you know, like you don't have to go. Denoise, this is the one that I used to use. Denoise, where is that? This is the one. Not this one, because this one is crazy amount of CPU. But this one's like, yeah, you could, yeah, this is the one. Voice denoise. When you use this one, yeah, you reduce the noise, the background noise, but it's still not working well because it's like a post-production. You want to just, you want to get rid of those stuff when you're recording, because you don't want to like process it after. That's crazy. But when you're doing this, when you're recording, look at this, like this amount of duck. If I don't duck this, you'll be shocked. Do you want to hear how it sounds like my actual room? Are you able to hear this? I'm not sure if you can hear this. Oh, not this one. I'm sorry. This is the channel, guys. This is the channel. Okay. One second. Not this one. That was a different channel. Sorry. Okay. Okay, check this. Do you hear the crazy background noise? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So what it does when there's only one difference here. So right now, this T-Vox, like the whole thing detects my voice. I'm not close to the microphone. It detects my voice. But when I do this, it still detects my voice, but I have to be a little bit more closer to the microphone. You know, that's the only difference it makes, and it cleans up so nicely. I still recommend people to just be in a quiet environment and turn off the AC if they can. But if you don't want to turn off your AC, you're still good. You're killing it, still good. So you have like option for noise. Mostly what I have here is the noise, not the room. I don't have the room anymore because I'm like very close to microphone. So when you are tracking your vocals very close to your microphone, like as if you're speaking, then you don't capture the room sound. But if you're back off from the microphone, if you're away from the microphone, meaning you're like screaming, you're like shouting, you're doing like gang recordings, gang vocal recordings, or you're singing super loud, then that's a problem for you. Room is going to be a problem for you when you are singing loud like a real singer. And think about it. Think about Billie Eilish. Just go give some example, guys. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have images. Okay, so normally when she's in the studio, okay, she is singing very close to the microphone. So in this case, this is like a dynamic microphone. Of course, dynamic microphones are great. You can be super close to the microphone and you're not gonna be super plosive. You're not gonna capture those plosives. In fact, they're gonna sound nice, but for the large diaphragm condenser microphone, if you are close to the microphone, you're going to capture a lot of plosives, which is exactly why I'm being super careful when I'm speaking to the microphone right now, just because I don't have a pop filter. So we are using something like pop filter. We're using something like pop filter to avoid all that plosives, because again, it's capturing the whole thing. By the way, this is the type of pop filter that I use for my other microphone. It's really good. This is like the best one. I tested all of these. I returned. I had this, I returned. I had this, I returned. Actually, no, I didn't return. I gave it to somebody else. I didn't have this one, but I had this one. This was awful, by the way. This was the worst. I can't believe people use this one. It was so terrible. It's so metallic. I use this sometimes when I need. I mean, I bought it. I'm using it, but I'm not liking it. It makes it a little darker. Yeah, for the background vocals, I didn't care. But this one, I didn't buy it $99, of course. I bought it for, I guess, $24. And I just ordered the second one, another 20. I guess I got like a discount now. It's like $21. This is a type that I'm using, guys. This is like, I don't know what they say, popular. Okay, this is the style, the sponge. It looks like a sponge, you know. This is the type that I use, and I do recommend that to people because I experienced all of this stuff. This one just makes it sound so terrible, like a podcast microphone. And this one makes it darker because of the texture here. It's too thick. Even if it's not thick, it's still like blocking. It's still blocking your frequencies, you know. And this one is so interesting. This one actually worked. This one worked. This was sponge type. So yeah, try it. Try and find out what is best for you. But yeah, I tried so many. Like this was the rest. And okay, let's continue. This is like ducking all that stuff. If I don't duck, you hear everything. Ridiculous, right? Now it's ducking the whole thing. Okay, you get the idea. So that's what I do. I have like preamp here. I just picked like a preset, I guess. I mean, it's just background vocal microphone. Like I didn't care that much. Since I'm speaking to this microphone sometimes, oops. Come on. Okay, guys. Since I'm actually speaking to this microphone sometimes, I thought I should just put like a compressor just to speak to the compressor, because if it gets super loud, this is supposed to duck it or level it, you know. This is like LA2A. This is like your LA2A, but I don't like LATA to A. I like this one more. So I use this one just because I'm speaking loud, I'm speaking soft. This is what I use. But for this one, for my lead vocal microphone, I don't use any compressor, like nothing. What I have this API Vision Pro, which makes me sound super plastic for my genre. I think for my style, it works. Yeah. And I use C-Suite, which ducks all the stuff out of all the noise. And I use this EQP A1, and I don't boost or duck anything. This is what I have. And for the background vocals, I have this. So for the background vocals, I don't care about the compressor. Like I don't want to dial in the compressor later on. And let's talk about the compressor, guys. So, okay, so when I have the compressor on, that you really want to pay attention to your input signal. So my input signal, TLM for my background vocals, voice, TLM 102. So this microphone is pretty flat. It doesn't have sibilance. It doesn't have crazy amount of sibilance. It has the presence. It has everything I need except the sibilance. Yeah, I have some sibilance, but it's not crazy. It's not like C414. This is the microphone that I have. And I used it for years. I can't believe now it's so cheap. Oh my God, I paid so much money for this one. By the way, yeah, this is the one I have. It's on cheap and sale, you know. Great. Anyways, so this is the one I was using, and it had so much sibilance. It has so much harshness, but it captures the mid so beautiful. Like you don't even need anything else. It captures it nice. And I remember I was just using this, and I was just using like built-in preamp, and I was good. I was good to go. So get the idea. So for this one, for background vocals, this one I used TLM 102. And this one has like a pretty nice balanced flat response, flat frequency response, do they say frequency response? Okay, so flat response means like it doesn't capture it doesn't get harsh. Like no matter what I do, this microphone is just so pure flat. Like you can totally do all those like crazy EQ moves with this microphone and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be safe to work with. Because when you have like a cheap type of microphone, like when you have this, you're gonna struggle, guys. You're gonna struggle because this is like a harsh and sibilant microphone and it doesn't capture the mids, it doesn't capture the lows. Like, of course, now you're gonna say that, wow, like, why do you even need lows? You're recording vocals. Bro, you need lows. You need the lows, you need the mids, you need the low mids. You want your vocals to sound like you are in the song, you belong in the song, that you don't want to cut those in the recording, right? And if you want all sibilants, go for this one. Yeah. I mean, it could be a great podcast microphone, like, I'm not gonna lie, but not for singing. It doesn't capture musical details, guys. Like these are the stuff that, I mean, if you have a really good voice, doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. But again, for people like me, for vocal producers, or for people don't really have like singing background or anything, people who are just like home producer and trying to sing, you know, like just to make, you know, so you get the idea, right? So this is like a good one for me because again, I don't have that voice. So if you have the voice, it doesn't matter for you. You can go this one, you can go for this one. Like you can get any microphone. Like you shouldn't even care. You shouldn't even care. You're gonna be fine with any microphone if you have the voice. And for background vocals, since this when you apply compressors, guys, to the background vocals, your S's are gonna go crazy. Excuse me. So your S's are gonna go crazy, right? Because you're compressing something. Try to put a compressor on your vocal chain and see what it does. Your S's are going to be super audible because even the quiet S's are gonna go spike up, you know, because you put a compressor, because you put a limiter, right? This one has like a built-in de-esser too. It is like compressing a little bit, and it has like a built-in de-esser, right? So it smooths out fast attack, medium to fast release. Like, yeah, because I'm recording background vocals, most of my background vocals are like pa, 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 and I'm speaking, right? So that's why I'm like putting like a fast attack. I want, yeah, the compressor to start working right away because I'm speaking too much to this microphone. I don't care about my transients. Like background vocals is not about transients, guys. This is another reason I don't put any compressor on my lead vocals, because I want to dial that in later on. But for the background vocals, like I don't mind. I can put like a fast compressor because I know it's not about the transient. What do you use for background vocals for? Background vocals is supposed to provide support to the lead vocal. How do you provide support to the lead vocal? Just tell me, how do you do it? By being consistent. All we need is a consistent signal, guys. We don't need the transient. We don't need the like the first notes, like first transients of the sounds. Like we don't need those. Like, no, we need like something like that. We don't need the transients. So that's why it's totally fine for me. That's why I dialed these settings in. And I was like, you know what, that's it. I'm fine. I'm ready. This is going to be a speaking type of microphone anyways. And I don't have to sound like a rapper. If I want to sound like a rapper, then I can totally put like an 1176. Yeah. That I can actually like make it like punchy. And it will sound like a rhythmical voice. But right now, I don't want this one to sound like a rhythmical voice. So that's another reason I'm putting the fast attack. So when you put like a fast attack on a compressor, you're actually protecting your signal, and that way it won't sound like you're a rapper, or you have all these transients or rhythmical transients. That's what I would say. So think about rappers, guys. Think about Drake rapping, or think about Nicki Minaj rapping. The more about me, of fire I get via a desire. It's my empire. Yes, I call the shots. When they're like singing, what does that mean? That's like a rhythmical element for you, right? That's why we're using, like, most of the time they're using 1176 or CL1B to get that punchiness. But if you're looking for like something smooth, like my talking voice to you guys right now, or like, just like basic background vocals, that you don't need that. That's why you can put like a fast attack on this one especially. So yeah, that way you're not gonna sound punchy. This is the reason I put this one. Okay. Ooh. Okay, what else can we talk about right now? Another reason, yeah, okay, so after C-suite, so first, let's just go over the chain one more time. I have a Vox box. I have like a little bit of compressor because I'm speaking to this microphone. I have a de-esser on because when you have the compressor, you want to make sure you put like a de-esser or something because your S's are going to go up. Anytime you put like a compressor or a limiter, watch out for those S's. You can eliminate them before the compressor or after the compressor. You can just pick your choice. But right now, since I'm just recording this video, of course, I'm eliminating them after my compressor with this de-esser. So it works. And I use a little bit more plastic tone for my lead vocals, and I use a smoother version of Vox box for my background vocals. That's what I like. That's how I create how can I say? That's how I create contrast. So what is contrast? Contrast is your best helper to get something sounding audible in the mix. Because think about it, if something is bright, then everything else has to sound dark, so that way that bright thing can shine. So what happens, like you have like one element bright and second element is also bright. You have like 5, 6 elements bright. What happens, guys? All of them are trying to stick out. None of them wins. So this is another reason, like when you're tracking vocals or recording vocals, like I understand this is like a mixing topic, like creating contrast like a mixing topic, and you can totally do this in the post-production, meaning you can totally put like an equalizer, you can darken your background vocals a little bit, you can cut those highs and you can make it a little bit more sound a little bit more darker, so that way you can create like separation because now you're benefiting from contrast. You can do it post-production, or you can do it in your vocal chain. If you have like 2 channels, you can dedicate one for lead, one for background and speaking. So you can do this method or something similar. That way you can just benefit from the contrast on the way of tracking the vocals. And what happens after? Your job gets easier. This is another topic that like most most engineers don't like to talk about. Like some of the like really professional engineers, guys, I want you to know a few things about these people. Like amazing, great networking. Of course, they have all the engineering skills, all that stuff. They have the experience with the consoles and all that stuff. They have they have everything, you know. But they don't know how to use some of the advanced tools. When I ask them, like I speak to some of them actually. When I ask them their preferences and choices, because they already had something. Okay, I'm just going to give you the example now. Things are going to make sense. So these guys are already recording the vocals with Sony C800. Just an example, right? This microphone, Sony C800, such a finished vocal tone, such a finished equalizer. I mean, it doesn't have an equalizer, of course, but the way this microphone captures the sound is like such a finished sound, meaning like you don't really have to do so much to mix it, to fit it in the mix. So Sony C800. Oh, actually, I thought it was 10,000. Now it's 20. Oh, crazy. Okay, so this is it, guys, right? $20,000 microphone, right? So what happens, guys, when you have this in your studio, and most famous engineers have these in their studio, and they just, some of the engineers, they even have these in their pockets, like they're just walking around with them. And then they go to the studio, oh yeah, I'm just gonna use this microphone because guess what? It's so hard to fit the vocals in the mix. So they're using this type of microphone, and they get that finished touch in the way of recording the track in the vocals. But if you don't have access to this microphone, then you're gonna have to end up with this type of microphone. Let me show you. AT, yeah, this is the one. But what happens when you have this one? Now you have harshness. Now you have sibilance. And how are you going to deal with those harshness and sibilance? And you're going to have to be really, really good at equalizing skills. You have to improve your equalizing skills so that way you can actually make it sound like Sony C800. And again, not to judge the biggest engineers or producers, but when they have this microphone already, it already sounds like finished. It already sounds like it's mixed. And you're gonna hear this term from very, very famous engineers. Like if you see their content, you're gonna hear this from them a lot. And they mostly say that, oh, it already sounds like it's mixed. So that's the type of microphone. It gives you the finished result. That way you don't have to tweak so much. What is the finished results? For the ideal sound for the microphone means that capturing the mid frequencies between 1 to 5K. So if you have a microphone that captures the frequencies between 1 to 5K, you are at a great start. You're lucky that you found that microphone. So that's number one. And if you have a microphone that doesn't sound super sibilant, then you're in luck, because then controlling those sibilant frequencies like around 8K, 8 kilohertz, 8,000 kilohertz, 8,000 hertz, that's going to be hard for you because, and if you have a microphone that is, when you're moving your head and the tone of your voice is changing a lot, which I experienced with C414. Let me show you that one more time, C414. So with this microphone, guys, when you're like moving from the axis, it's changing the tone. Not because it's a bad microphone, it's actually a great microphone. But when you're moving away from the, let's say you're moving to the left a little bit, you get a completely different tone. And you're moving to the right, you get a completely different tone. And what happens then, you're gonna have to learn all those equalizing tricks and skills in order to match all the words, like word by word. So you're gonna have to do a lot of automation if you're using something like this. So again, let's get to the point. When you have a good start, when your signal is already good, balanced, it's gonna already sound like it's EQ'd already. So you're not gonna have to put crazy equalizing on this type of microphones, like high-end microphones. Just to keep that in mind. It's not that you don't have the skills. Of course, you have the skills, but just the source of the signal is not even. There's nothing you can do. So there's one more option that I want to give you. Just to give you an example, guys. So what happens? So again, one more time, Universal Audio claims that when you load up the preamp, it's supposed to sound like the actual hardware unit, but it's just a plugin, it's just a software. But what they claim, they say it's supposed to sound like the hardware. So now they're doing exactly the same thing with the microphones. They're saying that, oh yeah, if you buy this microphone, if you load one of our settings like Sony C800 settings, that's going to sound like Sony C800. That's what they say. At least that's what they claim. But of course, I tested that. I didn't have access to Sony C800 microphone, but I was able to test and compare with the microphones that are available to me. And that's not the fact. But what is so good about this microphone Universal Audio Sapphire LX. When you move your head, let's say you move your head to the left or to the right, it doesn't change the sound. And it's crazy that nobody talks about this. Like, this is genius. These guys have the software. Let me show you the software. So software looks like this, guys. What happens when you're moving your head here, right? So you move your head here, it's going to sound the same. And you move your head here, it's going to sound the same. If you go further, it's going to sound the same. So you're not going to have to tonal match word by word, because that's what we do. That's another reason you as a home producer, you're like, oh my God, my vocals are not cutting through on some words. That's the reason, because you don't, that's one of the reasons. Your source is different each time you're moving your head. That's another reason. That's why what they do on Pro Tools, we don't have it on Ableton, but on Pro Tools Audio, I will say audio. I'm just going to show you on the picture, guys. So, okay, so let's say you're on Pro Tools, right? Oh, okay. So let's say you pick like a one word, right click and isolate it, right? And then you apply different equalizer on that word to match the rest, right? So these guys literally solved that issue. These guys literally solved that issue with the software. Isn't that ridiculously crazy? It is crazy, exactly. So these guys, again, these guys solved it. They figured it out. But no, there's only different, there's one issue that I'm returning. This one, it doesn't capture enough musical details in the mid-range. Nice top end, but where's the mid-range? Right? So this microphone has like a Sony C800 model, which is supposed to sound like a finished touch, but I have VA8000. So this is like a hardware, guys. This is exactly the one I have here. In fact, I should like write like a nice review. Okay, so this is the one I have. It's the same thing. So this is like a copy of Sony C800. They're claiming that they have a very similar sound to actual Sony C800. Again, I never tried actual Sony C800. Am I recording this? Oh yeah, great. So again, I never tried Sony C800, but I compared this one to UAD's Sony C800 software thing. And guess what? This beats. This one beats. Hardware beats. The reason is because, again, it gives me that shiny top end, which is amazing, but it also gives me nice mid-range. So it captures more details. So with this one, when I compared, I didn't feel like it was capturing the details. I mostly felt like it was just exaggerating post-processing. Guys, this part is so important. Post-processing. I felt like it was just post-processing the output of the signal. So do you want to make those changes in the output or the output? In the input or the output? I prefer input. Let me tell you the reason, because the way you hear your signal in your headphones when you're monitoring, when you're singing, right? The way you hear your signal is changing your performance. Now, this is crucial. Again, another interesting thing that most people don't talk about this, but I'm just going to talk about it because I look at things like an analytical way. This is how I think normally in my life as well. And this is the reason I became a producer and now I'm trying to become an engineer. I figured that if you are adjusting the output of the signal like this, technically it's supposed to sound is the same, right? Because when you're like tracking with it, or you're post-processing, I felt the difference, guys. I felt the difference, and maybe difference shouldn't affect me, but it did. and I'm highly believing in software and microphone emulations just because of that, keeping the tonal balance the same. Because if you move here, you sound the same. You move here, you sound the same. You're safe. You got a safe signal. That's very important. If you have a safe signal, you're good. You can do really well with this microphone because you have a safe signal to start with. Isn't that amazing? Yes. But for me, for someone, I just like, for me, it was different. It was a different experience. It changed the way I performed. The input signal that I was like listening when I was tracking, I felt like this was the output signal. It was just altering the output signal, and it was just putting like an equalizer or something to mimic what I already have with the tube microphone, because VA8000 is like a tube microphone, and I plug UAD pair. That's supposed to sound like Sony C800, and V8000 also supposed to sound like Sony C800, right? These both supposed to sound maybe similar, but it just didn't. So if this one was like, yeah, it didn't, I felt like it didn't capture enough detail, but it was just like exaggerating the output signal. And guess what? I was able to hear that. So I was totally able to hear that after tracking these exactly the same vocals with these two microphones, Sony, this one, and VA8000, this one. So I compared, this one was so much better. So much better. So I do want to believe in software because I love software is fixing a lot of stuff, but I'm just going to wait. So this is like a software. This really, really beats. Because why? Isolation. When you're recording the vocals, guys, this is not an isolation booth. This is just going to kill the reflection for you. But that's not going to isolate the noise for you. Okay? Let's keep everything realistic. Let's keep your mindset very realistic, guys. This is going to isolate. Yes. And this is going to do it too. Yes. But this, not going to do it. And you see the price difference, right? Like, this is what I used to tell my students all the time. Like, look, you see that? Like, do you think it could be the same? You're kidding yourself. Like, and especially this, like, this is like, oh my God, like, imagine like people are buying this stuff like crazy. Just buy this instead. Like, if you're that crazy, just buy this. Even this one isolates so much better. But since we're already talking about this cardioid weight, but the issue when you're like, this is so crazy, guys. So when you're like singing, yeah, okay. So look at this guy. I just wanted to look at this guy. Okay. So imagine this is like a cardioid pattern microphone. Oh my God, I'm talking too much, but this is all good information that I researched, studied so much. And I took, I have the advanced music production certificate from Berkeley. And I took microphone, what was the name of the class? Microphone techniques, so I got an A. So even though I'm not a singer, so I got an A. So again, so this is the cardioid pattern, right? So this microphone is not going to capture the back anyways, because if you put it on a cardioid polar pattern, which is this pattern, yeah, I mean, I studied well, guys. Like, I studied well. I mean, I wouldn't give anybody credit for teaching me stuff. No, nobody cared. I taught myself. Yeah, I had the books. Yeah, but nobody helped. They didn't even respond to messages when I was taking classes from Berkeley. These guys were not even responding to messages, guys. Ridiculous. Like, nobody's answering your questions. Ridiculous. It's all about like money. They take your money and buy. Ridiculous. And then they sell you some shitty old Waves plugins just because they have like an agreement with Waves, and they expect you to buy all those old school plugins. Like, I mean, I don't hate waves, but we have like so many different amazing companies, guys. Don't push those plugins to people. You don't have to use them. There's some famous waves plugins that I use, but not all of them. Like, come on, don't push it on people. I don't like it. It's so dogmatic, you know. Anyway, so card weight, right? So what happens if you're singing here? Microphone captures that. But the back of the microphone, it doesn't capture anything already. It doesn't capture anything already. So why are you... Okay, so it doesn't capture anything, right? Since it's not capturing anything, why are you using this? The back of the microphone doesn't capture anything. And you using this thing? Stupid. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it like, bro. Yeah, it can kill some of the reflection, but it's not gonna do a great job. So keep your expectations, like, be smart. Like, this is a cardioid part of microphone. This is only gonna capture here, and you are here. It's not gonna capture back. This is also stupid. These are like many of these stuff, like, come on, like, I mean, if you have no options, nothing else, yeah, they work, but you also have to know, like, keep your expectations very, very clear with these stuff. Don't expect that this is going to block the noise for you. Don't expect that this is just going to help you to sound like top notch. But, okay, so again, that's another reason I gave up on vocal booths. I have a really nice vocal booth that I built it myself. Lots of money and time spent. Beautiful, looks amazing, but I don't sing in this. I want you to know that in this case, software beats the hardware. I mean, I have no words. These guys did it right. No words. Okay. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna wrap up, guys. Again, we talked about the vocal chain, how simple this is. Look at this. Like this one, I have API. Like, I'm not doing anything on this API. It's just the preamp color that I use. That's all, because it sounds plastic and it works for this genre. It creates contrast between background vocals, because I'm trying to differentiate these both, because I put background vocals under lead vocals, and then I don't want them to sound like one. No, I don't want them to sound like one. I want them to sound like, oh, they are behind and complementing, right? So I'm creating the contrast in the recording chain by doing this, by doing the simple trick and doing nothing else. And for the lead vocal, I'm not compressing anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm not boosting anything. But for the background vocals, I'm controlling my dynamics. I'm putting like a de-esser, because it doesn't matter anyways. Like, it's not about the transients. It's about the, like, giving that fullness and richness when they are back. When they're background vocals, they're providing that fullness and richness. I'm not looking for transients. I'm looking for richness and fullness. Okay. And of course, I use my C-Suite on both channels. Look, this is the only difference. I use my C-Suite and attenuate all that background noise. And for the background vocals, I use a little bit of light compressor after everything, just to make things sound a little bit more even, because look at this. When I'm speaking, it's like moving the needle. And this one, I don't even have that. This one, I just use EQPA 1A, and I don't boost anything. I don't cut anything. I only use this for color. So when we say color, some people think it's the saturation. Some people think it's like EQ boost. This is just the EQ boost, guys. And the modeling of the preamp gives like that EQ shape, that specific shape that you have, and makes it sound pleasant. So it's not saturation or anything, but this one, API, it has a different type of preamp sound, of course. It sounds different than Voxbox, which is benefiting me when I'm recording. This one is just like EQ boost, you know, like, yeah, I guess it's the preamp, the way they build the preamp. I mean, not the preamp, the equalizer, right? It's just the equalizer. Even if you don't boost and cut anything, it just gives you that type of color, and people call it color, but it's actually equalizer shape. That actually is the equalizer shape. And you can actually check that. P1A default EQ shape. I'm sure there must be like some. Okay. I wish they showed. Yeah, okay. This is, I guess this is supposed to be like, there's supposed to be like some boost somewhere. Yeah, I don't have the plugin doctor yet, guys. Actually do. I haven't used it. But yeah, you get the idea, right? So when you leave it like this, you don't boost or cut anything. It gives you like some certain type of EQ shape. Gives you some certain type of equalizer shape, even if you don't boost anything or cut anything. And then that sounds nice. We can totally test it, but I don't want to test it. We're gonna end the video. So you get the idea, right? Maybe next time I test it. So, okay, so we talked about microphones, we talk about input chain, all that stuff. We're gonna talk more about that stuff. So again, now you know you have UAD console works. Now you know if you buy any Apollo Twin or Apollo Solo or any other Apollo higher end products, and it's gonna come with the software, and you can just do all that stuff. And you can like add reverbs here, you know, like reverb. You know, you can add like different reverbs here. Reverb Pro, like I want you to just check this one now. So when you add the Reverb Pro here, so when you send the signal to the aux chain, so this is how you actually manage your auxes. Look at this, guys. This is supposed to sound test 1, 2. If I unmute this, you're supposed to hear the reverb signal. That's how you manage it. So this is a good part of using UAD console as a software. This is like a really good way of using it, because most vocalists will want to hear their voices with some reverb or some delay, right? This is how you actually add that. And what happens, guys, you're listening, there's all these effects, bunch of effects that you can add, like reverb, delay, whatever you want to add, and you have like two auxes for that. And you can add all those effects, and you can listen when you're tracking the vocals. You can actually hear those reverb, all that effect that you added. You can hear those, but they're not going to be included when you're recording them. So UAD console app gives you this option. If you click on here, it says UAD record, means that you just record everything. But if I click on this, UAD monitor, means that I don't want to record this auxes here. That's what we are telling you. You're telling your app that, hey, do you want to record the FX channels on your, do you want them to be baked in your signal? Yes or no? That's a yes or no question. And you want to say yes, click on UAD record. You want to say no, click on UAD just monitor. So that way you can just monitor what you're hearing, but they're not going to be baked in. So this reverb, guys, this reverb is not going to be baked in. So, oh, I'm sorry, this one is going to be baked in because I put it on the UAD record mode. So that's why I have to, like, you know, get rid of this stuff, because I don't use this stuff. Remove. Yeah, just remove it. I do this and the auxes, like, seriously. Yeah, I don't use that stuff, guys. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So you get the idea, right, guys? Test 1, 2. Okay, so you still have the signal. So even if you're on UAD record, so it's gonna have everything. Even if you put on UAD monitor, it's still gonna have this stuff, I believe. I'll have to check that, double check that. But you get the idea. These are just like built-in effects stuff, like, and that's not gonna, those are not gonna be baked in, but you can still monitor yourself. The reason these guys made this app, because they want you to like hear yourself without any latency. What happens if you plug if you're using like any other interface, and you have to like set up like an input chain on your DAW, right? And then you're gonna hear latency. But this one allows you to hear everything with the effects on without latency. So that's the good part of being in the UAD family. This is a good part of the good reason of doing this. So all right, guys, so I'm gonna end the video now. Now you have basic, like, general picture on what to do if you are using UAD console app, or what to get if you really want to, like, monitor yourself, put some of the interesting stuff in your vocal chain to eliminate some noise or room or anything. Now you can do that. So okay, take care, bye. 1 more hour. Stop.